All right, YouTube. So I'm gonna address pretty soon what this video is about, but we're gonna do one quick unboxing first. Then I'll talk about the giveaway update. Well, anyways, giveaway update's coming up soon. First, let's get my unboxing going on. All right, discount tackle. I didn't buy them from there. I got it from Amazon, but whatever. See what else there are. Read a review, discount tackle, blah blah blah. Anyway, so this I picked up Z-Man Chatterbait. This one's a half ounce, and it's like a green pumpkin, I guess is what you call it. It has a black head, and it looks like it would be either like watermelon candy or something like that. I'm not sure. With the gold blade on it. And then this one is half ounce too, and it looks like a shad with green pumpkin or a shad with watermelon candy in it. I don't know what you would call it exactly, but that's what it looks like. And this one has a silver blade on it, white head on it. They're both half ounce chatterbaits. All right, so like I said, I'm gonna do a magnet fishing giveaway pretty soon, and there's a lot of magnets in it, and it's a lot of money that's going into it. It's like almost $800. It'll probably be over $800 if you include the shipping, because it's a lot of heavy stuff. Altogether, it probably weighs like 50 pounds plus, 50 plus pounds. It's really heavy. So it's going to be expensive to ship it anywhere, even in the US. But the giveaway is open to anybody, anywhere across the world. If you can type in English a comment, then you're entered. So yeah, you can always use like a translator on Google. It doesn't matter as long as it's in English and a comment. You're entered to win. I'll even ship it to North Korea. I don't care, but whatever. I just said North Korea because I don't like North Korea, but I'll even ship it to an Arab nation. I don't care. Anywhere in the world you can enter. It doesn't matter. If you can see this video and you want the gear, comment down below and you'll win. You can comment on this video or the other ones, but the requirement is that you comment down below the worst inventor ever in history and why they're the worst inventor. It can be a recent inventor or like an old inventor. Yeah, a lot of people think Da Vinci is like one of the worst inventors because none of his inventions actually worked. Pretty much, none of them really worked. Yeah. Um, but a lot of people are gonna be mad that I said that. But yeah, most of his inventions were just theoretical. Yeah, when they tried to put them into practice, they had to put some of our own concepts into them to make them function. But it is what it is. Anyways, so what I'm gonna do is tomorrow, which would be Wednesday, I had the day off of my work, so I'm going to Loctite my magnets. And since I'm going to be Loctite my magnets, I'll set everything out on my table of what's going into the giveaway with my Loctiting magnets because they have to be set out for at least 24 hours. But I let them sit for 48 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and Loctite them and show everything that I'm going to give away in the giveaway. And then that'll be the video that I upload. And it won't be a live video. It'll be I upload the video and that'll be the official giveaway. So if you want the 800 or so dollars worth that I'm going to invest into this giveaway, all you got to do is comment the worst inventor of all time and you'll be entered to win. It doesn't even matter who it is as long as I agree that they're the worst inventor. Yeah, it's whatever. But you gotta explain what their invention is. You can't just comment a name and expect to win. You have to properly enter, and the way to properly enter is you type the name of the worst inventor and what invention makes them the worst inventor. Anyways, so yeah, you got to comment what invention two makes them the worst inventor, and you can comment why that invention is so bad if you want extra points. But I can put two and two together if you don't want to go into it. And then if you want extra points to comment the best inventor and what invention makes them the best inventor. But first, you have to comment the worst inventor. All right, so I'm be opening up some other contests too. There's going to be a fishing contest opening up and a YouTube contest opening up, and also toys. I'm going to be giving away toys like kids' toys or whatever. Yeah, well, or whatever. They're kids' toys, toddler up to kids' age toys. So if you want to be a part of that, then yeah, I'll open that up pretty soon. But yeah, if you want to enter to the Yu-Gi-Oh giveaway, I'm going to be uploading a video for that. But to enter into that, you have to comment below who your favorite character is from the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh and why they're your favorite character from the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh. And it has to be the first season. If it's not the first season, it doesn't count. And yeah, so I have bias because I have my own favorite character of Yu-Gi-Oh, and no, it's not Joey, even though my name is Joey. That's a hint, so don't comment down below, Joey. But yeah. So there's that. You can comment second season. I won't dock you for that. But yeah, if it's not first or second season, then no. I don't want from like the new ones because that doesn't count because I haven't seen them before, so I won't know who you're talking about. But anyways, so yeah, I stopped watching Yu-Gi-Oh after the first two seasons because I didn't like the new ones. I tried watching them and I just could never get into it. Just like with Pokemon, I watched for like the first two seasons. Second season I was like, huh. The third season was garbage. I couldn't even get into it. But hey, it's just my opinion. I might end up doing a Pokemon giveaway, but it is playable for cheap as like Yu-Gi-Oh would be. Yu-Gi-Oh, you can go and buy a battle ready deck from a like booster pack deck or booster pack deck from a structure deck. You go buy a structure deck and your friend buy a structure deck, two structure decks, and boom, you can battle and have fun. You don't even need to invest any more money than $40 plus tax. Pokemon, you gotta spend like I calculated it. I spent $550. It was between $550 and $600. Now I estimated this, but this was when I was young. It was $550 to about $600 for me to build my battle ready deck for Pokemon, just so that I could battle with it. The actual decks that you buy from Pokemon that are like $25, you would have to buy like 10 to between 10 to 20 of those to actually have a deck that you can battle with. Most people don't have $1,000 to $1,500 to dump into their children just to so that them and their friend can play. It's stupid. But yeah. So that's why Yu-Gi-Oh is way better than Pokemon because it's a viable, cheap game that's fun to play. Like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering are pretty much similar because to actually get playable decks, you got to put thousands of dollars into it. But Yu-Gi-Oh is not like that. If you're not getting into the tournament scene, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to have a viable deck to win. If you just want to have fun with your friends, you buy two decks and you play with them as is. You don't need to do anything to them. You don't need to take cards out, add cards. I mean, you can just take it and play it. It's playable and you can have fun. Somebody choose. You buy the three structure decks that come. Hold on, wait. Let me No, I think I threw the box away. Yeah, I threw the box away. But anyways, you can go to Walmart and you can buy the 3 structure deck. That's the Yu-Gi-Oh, Joey, and Kaiba, I think, right? Yeah, Kaiba. So you can buy a 3 deck for less than $50, including tax, and then boom, you can choose, you and your friend. Oh, you like Yugi and you want to play with Yu-Gi-Oh, and somebody likes Kaiba and they want to play with Kaiba's deck, and you can just battle between with one of you gets the Yugi deck, one of you gets the Kaiba deck, and you just play and battle and you switch decks back and forth. Yeah, because there's a three wins set up for Yu-Gi-Oh. So like the first battle you have Yugi deck, and then the second battle you have Kaiba's deck, and then boom, it's fair, and you just battle like that. And yeah, see who wins. You don't even have to edit the decks or anything. So for like $50, you and your friends can have fun playing. That's why Yu-Gi-Oh is so much better. But anyways, ranting about that. Yeah, so there's going to be quite a few giveaways. Stay tuned to my channel. If you want to stay more tuned, subscribe and turn that bell on so that way you don't miss anything. But I don't really care if you subscribe or not, or turn on my bell. I don't honestly care. I mean, I would like you to subscribe, but if you don't subscribe, I don't care. As long as you're watching my content, that's all I really care about, honestly. That's all I've ever really cared about. That's why I started my channel, was just for views, not for subscribers. But it's whatever. All right, so I got another one of these. This one is called the Brett's Bluegill, and it's a half-ounce jackhammer with the gold blade. Yeah, it has like a half-colored head. Like that's some strange crap right there. Half-colored. It's like a whole bunch of different colors in the head. I've never seen a head colored like that before in a bait. Well, I guess that's what you get when you pay for a $20 bait. You get a good paint job. But anyways, yeah. Normally heads on stuff like this, on jigs, are actually only one color. I've only ever seen 2 colored ones before this. So like this is really cool because normally you only see like if it's gonna be painted more than one color, you'll just see like the gills painted one color, and then the actual head painted one color, and you might see some eyes on it. But yeah, for an eyeless bait that isn't actually painted on gills, it has a whole bunch of different colors. Like, that's cool. I think that's very cool. But anyways, that's just me. You get what you pay for sometimes, and sometimes when you pay for expensive stuff, you get good quality. Sometimes. Last package, and then I'm gonna be out of here. Wow, that just sent stuff everywhere. Lovely. It's really what I wanted. Oh, these are my 6 cents. All right, so then I got this one, which is Kraken Crawl. It's called the Kraken Crawl, and it's a flat one, which means it's not thick. It doesn't really sound very good in the box, but whatever. It's to be expected. It's a square bill, I think, too. Yeah, it's a square bill. Yeah. I like the paint scheme on this, so I got it. The blue around the eyes like that. Fish will crush this just because of that blue right there. That mimics a bluegill really good. The blue dot on it like that, fish would love it. Just my opinion. I think I've never really fished with lures like this before. And then this one is called Black Magic Sixth Sense, Black Magic. That black with the blue with the green, killer. And it's a square bill too. Yeah, I only like square bills. All other bills, if it's not at least squarish, I don't like them. They like to hang up a lot if it's not square. A lot of people say, well, the square bills hang up. But see, the thing about a square bill is you just get it in at an angle and it pops right off of it because of the way that it is. It has like an actual sharpness to it. So you can kind of cut away from stuff. I don't know if it makes sense to most people, but when you're fishing, if it's rounded and you like uh try and get free of a hang up and it's rounded, what will happen is when you yank it at an angle like that, it'll tend to spin around it. So once you spin around it, you're gonna snap off. There's no way to get it undone at that point in time. That's why you break off a lot because you'll get wrapped up around it. Like people talk about getting wrapped up in a tree and they don't understand what they're actually saying is that they're getting spun around it. And that's why they're snapping off because you're creating a stress factor across the circular of it. And so like the first yank, you're spinning yourself around and getting yourself more stuck. And then the second yank to third yank is just you causing enough pressure to snap your line and you lose your lure. But a square bill, if you yank because it has a square bill, it comes to a point. That's why when the point of your square bill is, the less likely you're gonna get stuck and lose your lure. Because when you yank at the angle like that, you're turning the bait into the tree or whatever the thing is that you're hung up on, and it hits the corner. And when it hits the corner, it's pushing into it. And if you know anything about pressure, equal and opposite reactions, it's going to cause that pressure point. So at the angle that it's causing the pressure into, it's going to bounce back. So when it bounces back and away from the structure that you're hung up on. And oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes that'll cause your bait to swim away from the structure that you're caught into and you get your bait back. So with a square bill, you're less likely to lose your lure than if it was rounded. Just some physics for you guys. I know it's crazy. But anyway, so then I got another bluegill pattern, but this another one. Yeah. I mean, my bluegill pattern for my square bill. Yeah. Bluegill fire. Oh, upside down. Sorry. Bluegill fire. I mean, I don't really like the way that these stripes are done like that, but it mimics a real life bluegill. Yeah, again, the blue around the eye, fish tear that up because that's really realistic. And when you get really realistic, fish tend to hit it. So I don't know if I would really call this more of a bluegill as more of a sunfish because it looks more like a sunfish to me. But it doesn't matter. Bluegill, sunfish, whatever. Bass, love it. Yeah, so this is also a square bill because again, I like square bills. So just me. I don't really have much experience with fake lures, but I do know what I like and what I don't like. So you can get an idea of what I like just by my giveaway because the giveaway that I'm doing, it's going to be tackle boxes set up, a lot of them. And then there's going to be like some excess like soft plastics and stuff like that and an extra um, tackle box, but that's not actually going to be like a tackle ready box. So you wouldn't really take that for you. That's if you want to supplement into another tackle box, like, oh, you think you're going to go bluegill fishing. Well, then you go into this tackle box and take some stuff out and put it into your other tackle boxes to get you ready to go bluegill fishing. Or if you want to go fishing for crappie. The reason why you do that is if you're going to go catfishing, you get you some cut bait or some live bait for bass and stuff like that. So, yeah. if you're gonna do that, then you'll want to go into this excess tackle box that I have. You can tell which one's the excess tackle box, and I'll go through it when I do my giveaway. But it's a small one. The big tackle boxes are the ones that are the actual giveaway. The other one's just excess stuff, but that's going into the giveaway. And there were a few things that I couldn't put in because one's too big of a bait to put in a tackle box, obviously. And then the other one is just it's stinky bait that's marinating in the stinky fluid. So you don't want to actually put that in your tackle box. That would be horrible. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, those soft plastics will actually be in the soft plastic bag, and then everything else is gonna be uh, tackle box ready for you. So you just grab whatever tackle box you think is best for you. Um, what you'll think that you'll need, and you just take one box at a time, and you have everything you would need to go fishing. Um, Whether it be winter or otherwise. So yeah, there's going to be more winter oriented, and there's going to be more summer oriented, and then there's going to be more of like a hybrid and more of like a fall, which would be like both type of lures. So it's like whatever you think would work, you just grab it that day and go with it. It's going to be already made tackle boxes. So grab and go. And then I'm also going to be giving away rods and reels. So there'll be combos, and I'm going to have them put together. Of course, it won't be completely put together because I got to ship it. But you get what I'm saying. The rods won't be put together, but the reels will be spooled and ready to go. All you have to do is just put the pieces together and go fishing. Grab you a tackle box and a backpack, and put the tackle box in the backpack, and you're good to go. It'll have all the hooks and weights and soft plastics and jigs and crankbaits and spinner baits and everything you would want. You would think you would need top water, whatever. Some of them might have spinner baits, while some don't. So if you think you're gonna go spinner bait fishing, then you'll grab the tackle box with spinner baits in it. Uh, they don't all have the same type of lures because, like I said, they're built like what I would take, and I like a variety. I like simplistic, where I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do cranking today. So in my cranking today tackle box, I would have mainly just crankbaits and jigs. So that way I would have something to fall back onto, more of a confidence bait for me, which would be jigs. Although I'm more of a swim jig confident person. And yeah, so uh, I got to get into the other jigs. I got to see what's going on with the jig territory. But yeah, most of the time, my most confident bait artificial would be a jig head and a swimming jig head without the the weedless thing, like plastic type stuff that has that keeps you from getting hung up. Um, I've never really fished much with those, and I've never caught anything on them. I mean, like I threw them out for like I don't know, like an hour and a half total in my entire life, maybe 3 hours tops. So I haven't really fished with them and actually got comfortable with them. But jig heads, like actual jig heads, just the jig head that you put the soft plastic on, those are like a confidence bait for me when it comes to artificial lures as well as crankbaits. I'm a crankbait person, but I like to yo-yo my crankbaits. I like to yo-yo my jig heads too. Um, People don't know what yo-yoing is. Maybe is when you reel a little bit. Um, I reel a little bit, stop, and then yank it up, and then that causes a yo-yo because it just jumps up. But I like to reel it a little bit, let it sit, because reeling it makes it come up in the water column. Then you stop reeling and let it sit, and it falls. And then you yo-yo it up, and then it causes erratic up and then erratic down. and then you reel it up, and it swims up, and then it drops, and then you yo-yo it. It causes like a real reaction type bite with the fish because it resembles more of an injured fish than if you're just swimming it. If you're just swimming it, then you're less likely to get a reaction bite. Reaction bites tend to be more vicious. So if you're an inexperienced fisherman with a bait that you're not really confident with, yo-yoing it is great because you'll detect the bite almost every single time. So if you're not really good with that and it's not really your confident bait, which any artificial lure it really isn't my confidence bait, then yeah, you'll want to yo-yo it because you'll create that reaction bite. The same thing with top water. Like if you don't know really what you're doing, top water would be great because you'll know when you get a bite. Uh, Soft plastics are really hard to fish if you're not used to them, including swim baits. Swim baits are horrible for beginners if you don't know what you're doing in fishing. Don't use swim baits. You'll have a hard time telling if you actually got a bite. Same thing with Texas rigs and dead sticking and stuff like that. You will have such a hard time knowing if you actually got a bite. And there are rods out there that can help you that are more sensitive, but I mean, just go with what you're confident with. And if you're not confident, then try and help yourself out with more of a reaction type bite. So that way you really know that you're getting a bite. As far as what I like to fish for, I like to fish for catfish. Um, and I like to fish for bass too, but when I fish for bass, I oftentimes catch catfish. And when I fish for catfish, I oftentimes catch bass. People are like, "Oh, catfish are like scavengers and they only feed on the bottom." Bull crap. Catfish are aggressive, predatory fish, just like bass are. Bass are opportunists and scavengers, just the same as catfish. So, like, if you're fishing for a catfish, you can catch a bass. If you're fishing for a bass, you can catch a catfish. However, uh, there isn't really anything else in the U.S. that does that. That you would fish for a predatory fish and get this two predatory fish on the same lure that you're using that's targeting a specific predatory fish. Like people will say, "Oh, well, you can target bluegill," and then but bluegill is a bait fish, so even if you're targeting a bluegill and you catch a bass, it's different because bluegills really aren't predatory fish; they're bait fish. So yeah, and people will be like, disagree, whatever, but I don't care. The only really predatory fish that you can target and catch another predatory fish is bass and catfish. Yeah, and you can fish them the same way or fish for them the same way. So what is my most confident bait? Bread. Uh, Bread and worms. I like bread and worms. Live worms. I hate Stankos and Sankos or whatever you want to call them. I call them Stankos because they stink. Not because of the smell, because they're just horrible baits. So I call them Stankos for a different reason than most people call them Stankos. Most people call them Stankos because when you open the package, they stink. I call them Stankos because they suck as a bait. They're horrible. I hate Stankos. Yeah, if you're gonna go with the artificial worm, I like something more like um, crap. Like can't think of it right now. What crap is the name of that? I'm drawing a blank. But anyways, more of a skinny profile. Those fat ones that hardly ever move. Senkos, they're horrible. I hate them. Um, I wouldn't even try and fish them, honestly. So like when I bought my artificial worms, I did not buy Cinco's. I bought the worms that I like to fish with that are artificial because I mimic more of a realistic worm, which is like is my most confident bait to fish with, live worms. Yeah, so I fish most. I fished my entire life up until my mid 20s with only live bait and jig heads with swimming jig heads on them, unskirted and everything, without the weedless protection. My entire life, that those are the only baits I used, and I used like live baits like crickets and stuff like that. I used grubs a few times, but I didn't really fish with them that much, so I really wouldn't put them in there in that same category. But worms and crickets are great. I love fishing with them. I've also fished with live fish quite often, and I like fishing with live fish. It's fun. And yeah, but I don't like fishing with bobbers with live bait like a lot of people do. I like my fish to be more free to swim around, so I don't restrict them with the bobber. I just throw them out and let them swim around without the bobber, and I don't put weights on it either. I just let it be free, um, even though it's not really free because it's hooked up. But I've always found out that that you catch bigger fish like that. You'll catch more fish if you use the bobber, but you'll catch smaller fish with live bait with the bobber. If you want to catch big fish with live bait, you got to let them be free. No weight, no bobber. You just tie them on with the hook. You tie on a hook, hook them, throw it out there. You're done. You just let the bell run out while they're swimming out a while, and then you lock it up, and then just wait. When you lock your bell, it'll force your fish to swim towards you, and that way, it'll give you some play, and the fish can play, and fish can move around. But you'll know if you get a bite because you'll start running towards where it hook sets itself. A lot of times, the fish will actually set itself that you catch quite often because it'll run opposite of where the bait fish was coming in the direction. Once it eats it, it'll go in the opposite direction and start running with it, and that'll cause it to hit the edge of because your bail's closed, so it'll hit the edge of it, and it'll hook set itself most times. I've hook set, not hook set fish, but had fish hook set themselves over 10 times. But that doesn't sound like that much, but it's a lot for not hook setting a fish and a hook setting itself. Because I haven't really fished that much with live bait fish, not like worms or anything like that. But I'll do the same thing with worms. I won't put them on bobbers, won't put them on weights and throw them out there and that. Although I do like fishing bread on bobbers. Like most people will be like, "What? You don't like fishing live bait on bobbers, but you like fishing bread on bobbers?" Most people fish bread. I would fish live bait. But yeah, I like bread on bobbers. It's more controlled. You can control the water column better. You want it to be with bread, you want it to be a third of the way from the bottom. So like you gotta kind of imagine how deep the water is. Because it's really hard to tell without a boat or anything like that. So from the shore, you got to guesstimate how deep it is, and you'll want to take 2/3 of the depth and put that as where you put your bobber on your line and throw it out there because you want your bread to be a third of the way up from the bottom, and you'll catch way more fish and you'll catch bigger fish that way in that water column. And you just throw it out there. But most people are like, well, bread, you want it on the bottom if you're going after catfish. No, catfish are predatory. You want them to work for it. When you get catfish to work for it, you'll catch more catfish, more quality catfish than if you threw it at the bottom. Nobody important. But anyways, yeah. So enough talking about catching fish. Uh, yeah. So I gotta go do some stuff. But yeah, I just really wanted to update you guys on my magnet fishing giveaway. I will be doing it soon. I have not forgotten. I'm sorry it's taking me so long. I just have crazy hours at work. Haven't had the time. So yeah. Sorry about that. YouTube that I'm slacking off a little bit, but whatever. I'll get back to it eventually. I'm gonna get back to writing too. I'm a writer, but I'm about to start my own business too, so that's gonna take up a lot of my time. But I will do some videotaping of my actual business. I'm going to start my business off teaching Arnis, which is Arnis. I teach a different version of Arnis than you would expect in the Filipino style. I teach more of the deadly style. So, yeah, it's not the artistic version. Like you go on YouTube and you type in Arnis, it's more of an artistic version of it where they're not actually focusing on killing. Mine is more of a killer be killed type thing, which it's a self defense class. I'm going to try and get clientele in the police force. I'll give discounts for anybody in the armed forces if they want to take it. Instead of charging $10 an hour, like I'm going to charge regular people, I'll charge $5 an hour. And I'll charge $5 an hour for people that I work with that they want to take it to because they work with them. So yeah, $5 an hour for people that I work with or family or friends like that, and then everybody else is gonna be $10 an hour, and $5 an hour for anybody that's in armed forces of any kind. So like military, if you show me that you're in active military or that you weren't in active military of some sort or armed forces, or if you're like a firefighter or a paramedic or a police officer, armed forces, or anything like that, SWAT detective, FBI, or anything like that, I'll only charge you $5 an hour. And yeah, so I'm gonna put that in an ad in the newspaper, and hopefully I catch hope. I'm thinking about fishing, man. I've been thinking about fishing. Hopefully, I catch some people's attention and yeah, get some clientele built. But yeah, it's gonna be slow at first. But yeah, I'm gonna be teaching all sorts of very neat, useful things. And I'll also be teaching survival. It'll be a survival class, so it won't just be our niece and judo and Muay Thai. It'll also be how to start fires, how to create knives out of rocks, how to start fires with rocks, how to start fires with flint and steel and matches and lighters, and how to start one match fires and how to build shelters and stuff like that. I'll just like the shelters and that I'll just describe how it is, but I'm not gonna like go out and build a shelter. I might, but it would be like a field trip and oh yeah. But anyways, I'll also teach knife training on safety and how to sharpen and how to wield the knife, and that'll go hand in hand with the Arnis because I'll be teaching Arnis with knives and bokens, which is swords, and the knives will be aluminum knives. The training with them. The reason why I use aluminum is because when you get stabbed with aluminum, it really feels like you're getting stabbed with the real knife. So it creates a realism to it. And yeah, broken swords because rattan poles, they're not very realistic as far as like reach and stuff like that. So the rattan poles are more for like the artistic style of Arnis. Whereas if you're getting into the more deadly, it's better if you practice with bokens even though people be like, that's not our niece. No, it really is. It's just a different form of our niece that most people aren't used to. When you hear our niece, they don't think that's our niece. They don't really think of that as our niece, but that is the version that I teach is our niece of Boken swords. So it's really not swords play. It's a little bit different than swords play. The more traditional Japanese. It's not traditional Japanese. The style that I have, it's more Filipino. But yeah, there's that. So I'll be teaching hand to hand combat pretty much and defense. So you'll be able to defend yourself against baseball bats, machetes, swords, knives, guns, hand to hand combat like kicks, punches, that sort of thing. You'll also be able to defend yourself against grappling. I teach grappling and judo throws, and also like Muay Thai kicking, kick pretty much like kickboxing. I'm really good at Muay Thai and judo personally. I've even used judo on people in real life in fighting situations to stop a fight. If you pick somebody up and you slam the fight right out of them. And if it doesn't work the first time, you pick them up and slam them again. And they're so stunned from the first time that they still want to fight you. You pick them up and slam them the second time, they're done. They don't want to fight you anymore. And yeah, it's a great way to end a fight. If you don't really want to fight somebody, you'll end it quickly and you'll reduce damage to you and the other person by judo. Yeah, judo is really good for if you want to semi peacefully end a situation that could be deadly. Yeah, so judo is very useful, and I'm good at it. And I'm also good at arnis and stuff like that, and disarming and this and that. Yeah, if somebody's trying to stab you, my class will allow you to live. You'll be able to know what you need to do in real life and have real life practice because it's going to be full contact, no padding. So we'll be sparring, full blown, full out sparring with no padding, no protection, just like it would be in real life. So you'll be ready for real life if you ever get into a situation where somebody's trying to kill you. You will be able to defend yourself, and you will be able to lean back as and on your muscle memory, as in your own situational awareness of your knowledge, and that it'll be intuitive most of the time. And then what doesn't come intuitive will come through the knowledge that you have of what you've learned. But yeah, most of it will be muscle memory. You don't even have to think about it. It'll just come to you naturally. As if somebody tries to stab you, you'll be able to take the knife from them. If somebody tries to hit you with the baseball bat, you'll be able to take the baseball bat from them. Somebody tries to chop you up with that machete, you'll be able to take the machete from them. Somebody pulls a sword on you, they're done. Uh, you'll be able to take the sword from them. If somebody pulls a gun on you, you'll know what to do to get that gun from them and keep them from shooting you. Yeah, but there are limitations. Like if somebody has a gun and they're over 10 meters away, there really isn't much you can do. You're likely to die. But if you're within that 10-meter range, they're going to die if you know our knees properly. Because most likely you're going to get the gun from them and you're going to kill them for trying to kill you. So, yeah, but preferably you'll be able to disarm them and disarm the gun and be able to end the confrontation right then and there. But it's not an ideal world. So most likely if somebody pulls a gun on you, somebody's going to die and you want it to be the other person. So if they're within 10 meters and they pull a gun on you and you know my style of arnis and you've taken my arnis classes, you will be able to kill them. Uh, take the upper hand in the fight at least if you don't want to kill them, and be able to disarm the gun if you disarm them of the gun and disarm the gun properly, so that way everybody will be saved and you won't really have to worry about it. After that, you can just call cops or something and let them deal with it. But yeah, uh, within 10 meters, you'll be able to definitely defend yourself against a gun, no problem. And also, if you're going to be knife fighting with somebody who has a knife and you have a knife in real life, which is a very common occurrence between people, is that somebody will pull a knife on them and they'll have their own knife and they'll pull a knife. Happens all the time. It's not very rare at all. It's more rare that somebody pulls a knife or gun on you and you don't have a weapon yourself. So yeah, most of the time, if you're in that situation where somebody's gonna pull a knife on you, you're gonna have a knife. So my training also teaches you knife fighting with both of you having knives. Same with swords and stuff like that. But it's very unlikely that both of you would have a sword. But anyways, just in case. But yeah, our niece does that too. But the way I train with it, it's less typical, less traditional Arnis. It's more the killing version of Arnis. There's like six different versions of Arnis, I think, and one to two of them is like more artistic, and the rest of them are just straight killing. But as far as what kind of Arnis mine is debatable because I don't really know exactly what it would fall under. Yeah, you can do research into it, but most Arnis artists don't use judo and also Muay Thai, but yeah, my Arnis version uses both judo and Muay Thai. Um, with the actual Arnis, which would be the rattan poles. But yeah, I'm not going to be using rattan poles because rattan poles are more dangerous for a person's wrist and hands and fingers to more break them, cause more injury to them than an actual shaped handle of a boken sword. But yeah, boken swords aren't. Normal boken swords don't even have wraps on them. So I mean, it'll force you to develop your grip. That's why it's more Arnis style than a Japanese style, because Japanese style would have wraps. It would be wrapped, so you don't have to work on your grip strength and stuff like that. But Arnis, you got to work on your grip strength. But you're less likely to injure yourself because of the ergonomic, ergonomical ergonomical, however you say that. But the more advantageous shape of the bogan swords that I have versus the rattan poles, which are just round and hard to handle. And yeah, but like I said, the rattan poles aren't very realistic because you're not going to come across a person with a machete that's short. You're not going to come across somebody with a baseball bat that's short. You're not going to come across somebody with a sword that's short. So, training with the Bogan swords and the Arnis style is more advantageous to real life. So that's why we trained like that, because it was preparation for more real life than it would be if you trained traditionally in Arnis. The Arnis I trained in isn't traditional at all, but I'm still going to advertise Arnis, but it's not going to be traditional. I'm not going to advertise a traditional Arnis. It's going to be non-traditional Arnis with judo and Muay Thai. I'll put that in as what I'm going to be training people in my advertisement. I'm not going to false advertise it. And I'm also am not a master myself. I don't have any belts. I apprenticed under a master. So I can't claim to be a master quite yet until I have my own apprentices. But I am a master of Arnis, technically, as soon as I take an apprentice. So yeah, I do have the skills and the skill set to be a master, so you could call me a master of Arnis. But I don't have the credentials as like a normal master would. So yeah, there's that. That's why I'm not charging a whole bunch for my lessons. $10 an hour is decent, very decent. You would not find that anywhere else. Our niche training for $10 an hour, you're lucky to get it for 20. Most of the time, it's 20 to $50 an hour, depending on our niche trainer. You can be looking at 50 if it's a professional Arnis per hour, uh, with credentials and stuff like that, like awards, and because you can go to like tournaments and get awards and stuff like that. But I was never really into the tournament scene, so I don't have any like stuff like that. But to get into the tournament scene, they want you to have like belts, earned belts and stuff like that. But I was never into it. I apprenticed. So like me entering a tournament, they probably wouldn't even let me until I make a name for myself. But eventually, I would like to enter into a tournament and face off against like the world's best, because I think I'm the best in the entire world for our niece, honestly. But yeah, it's just my own opinion. Um, I did training like most Japanese samurai do. I trained myself to see fast moving objects that are small, just like the guy that can cut bullets. And he has a world record in the Guinness World Record for the fastest pellet gun bullet cut in half. Uh, Go look that up on YouTube if you don't know who I'm talking about. I don't know his name off the top of my head. It's like really hard to pronounce. I probably wouldn't even pronounce it right. He's Japanese. I'm not Japanese. Sorry. I don't even want to try to butcher his name. But yeah, he's like super famous. He's like super fast and everything like that. I'm faster, definitely faster. And my technique is more Arnis style, like I said. So it uses one-handed techniques, dual wielding one-handed techniques, because it's Arnis. Arnis uses dual wielding one-handed techniques. But yeah, they normally use rattan pulls one-handed techniques. So when I learned it, I learned both double-handed and single-handed single sword techniques, and I never really used two at the same time. But I learned both hands. Does that make? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. So I can dual wield even though I didn't learn to dual wield at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but I know how to dual wield, and I'm good at dual wielding. I could dual wield at the same time perfectly. Um, but I'm not a dual wield striker at the same time because it's stupid. If you're gonna do dual wield, you want one of your swords to be, or rattan pulls, whatever you're using. Um, when you're doing that, you or a shield, you can dual wield a sword and shield the same sort of way of my technique. You want one of your swords that you're dual wielding, single hand sword techniques. Uh, you want one of them to be your pairing sword. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but pairing, it's when you block and redirect the person's attack with one of your swords or rattan pulls, and then use your other sword or rattan pull to attack. With me, I would be pairing with my left sword and attacking with my right, unless I feel like uh, throwing the opponent off. If my opponent's really good, I'll throw the opponent off by not only footing, but also by my strikes. I'll switch to my left-handed dominant and pair with my right. Uh, I can switch between dominance of hands when I fight an Arnis with either left or right hand, which is very, very uncommon when you're talking about sword techniques with Bokens, to be able to switch effortlessly. But I stand with a different stance than most people would. If you're right hand dominant, most of the time you would stand with your right foot forward, I think. But yeah, you'd stand with If you're right hand dominant, you stand with your left foot forward. When I fight, I stand with my right hand or with my right foot forward. So, the reason being why it's backwards is because you get more leverage when your left foot is forward with your footwork, with your right hand dominant strikes. But I am goofy stance when I like snowboard and stuff like that and skateboard. So I'm not a regular stance. So when I fight, I'm more comfortable in a goofy stance than in a regular stance because that's what I'm used to as being more strong and dominant of a position for me when I'm fighting. Yeah, so I'm more comfortable, more balanced with my right foot forward. So when I fight with my right hand dominant with my right foot forward, and that throws a lot of people off because they're not used to that. But if I can switch my stance during fights very effortlessly, and it translates to being normal to me because it just is normal to me. It's different than when I'm like skateboarding and that. Hey, what's up, Funkit TV or Funkit TV, Funkit CT? All right, yeah, nice to see you. But anyway, so yeah, you were asking me about my giveaway. I'm gonna be opening it up tomorrow. Officially, I'm gonna be laying out everything out on the table and showing it and filming it and uploading it. So yeah, the magnet fishing giveaway is going to be happening pretty soon. Like within 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to be shipped out to the winner. So yeah, keep entering in. Yeah, and there's that. But yeah, like I was talking about. So my fighting style throws a lot of people off because when I'm sparring and stuff like that with people, it throws them off when I'm sword playing because will have my right foot forward, and I attack with my right dominant. So it throws them off because they're like, "What is he doing?" These strikes are so irregular and un. I don't know what they call that, but anyways, they're so irregular. He's not standing with his left foot forward, so it throws people off. The strikings are unorthodox. That's the word I was looking for. They're really unorthodox in my striking. Uh, yeah, I'll be teaching anybody who's 9 years and up, and it'll be full contact, no padding. Our knees. I'll be teaching with also knives and swords, aluminum knives and wooden swords, bokens, and it'll be the Arnis form of martial arts, but it'll also entail judo and also Muay Thai. Um, I'm a Muay Thai artist. I like striking with my legs. I really do. Leg striking, it's very vicious. I love it. If I get into a fight, I'm either going to use judo or Muay Thai. The only time I would actually use our knees is if somebody pulls a weapon or if I pull a weapon. But yeah, other than that, I'll lean on my judo and Muay Thai. But most of the time, I'll lean on my judo if I'm trying to end a fight that I don't want to fight, and Muay Thai if I want to fight, trying to end the fight viciously. My kicks are vicious. Again, standing with your right foot forward. If I'm doing Muay Thai, watch out for if I switch my stance. If I switch my stance, I'm going to Muay Thai. I know I shouldn't be telling people what my secrets of my fighting style, but if I switch to my left foot forward, I'm going to be striking you with Muay Thai. Uh, yeah, I'm more comfortable with my Muay Thai striking with my left foot forward. Um, than I am with my right foot forward, but that won't stop me from striking. with my right foot forward stance. But most of the time, I will switch to my left foot forward if I'm going to Muay Thai strike you. But yeah, it's just what I'm comfortable with. But if I'm doing more of a judo style or more of a Arnis style, I will have my right foot forward always. So if I have my right foot forward, watch out for takedowns, watch out for breaking arms, watch out for attacking joints, breaking legs, that sort of thing. Watch out for also Muay Thai elbows and also Muay Thai knees. I'll strike Muay Thai with my knees and grappling and stuff like that, and judo and that, and with my right foot forward. But if I'm going to be doing Muay Thai striking with my feet, then I will actually switch my stance back to a regular stance of a normal right dominant person with my left foot forward. But yeah, so I'll be teaching all that sort of thing. I'll be teaching stances and stuff like that too. That'll be a big part of the beginning training is teaching stances, what finding out what you're comfortable with in that. But yeah, anyways, so I gotta go. Nice talking to you, YouTube. Yeah, you have a good day too. If you're still around, Funk It CT. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, I'll be back with my videos for my giveaways. I'll be opening up my Yu-Gi-Oh giveaway and also my Minute Fishing giveaway very, very soon. Same day. I don't know if they'll upload the same day because it might take a while for them to upload. But anyway, so yeah. See you, YouTube.